Welcome back, everyone. Today I have a tour review for Power of the Prime's deluxe class Novastar, also known to you 80s kids as Firestar. Novastar is her new trademark-friendly name. And Novastar here is a retooling of Power of the Prime's Moonracer with a new head and a new weapon. So right away you can see she's got this whole kind of fiery motif going, a lot of bright reds, bright oranges, almost hot rod-like in appearance. I mean, the Transformer hot rod, not like the car, but yeah, that too, right? Turns into this kind of elongated, futuristic Cybertronian race car looking thing. Her prime armor does attach to the back like this. And then her weapon stores on the side, like so. Can always remove that prime armor and that weapon if you want to. Just give her a cleaner looking car mode. There's that. So if you've seen my review for Moonracer, you kind of already know how I feel about this mold, the pros and the cons to it. The car mode is a really neat, kind of unique look. I like that. I really don't like the obvious fists hanging off the back, which, that hasn't gotten any better with the bright orange now drawing even more attention to them. But overall, it's a pretty solid car mode. It doesn't roll as well as I would like it to. Kind of drags a little more than it should. But it is what it is. It's a simple car. Here I've got Moonracer just to compare the two. You can see that their color layouts and paint schemes are quite different from one another. Moonracer's got her Autobot symbol on the front, got all this painted. Hers is left unpainted here, but painted up here. And you can see these nice subtle differences between them just all throughout. Very cool. Here's Novastar's robot mode. Just like Moonracer, she has a very sleek, very feminine physique to her. Joints actually hold together quite well, despite how small they are. They're not very loose or anything. Her gun is more of a grenade launcher to Moonracer's like sniper rifle. Her head is a completely new mold. So that's very nice. It's designed right off of her 1980s cartoon look. Her feet are still made of translucent plastic, which is terrifying to me. And one thing that I've noticed is that her right foot is really loose compared to the left one. And I did not have this problem with Moonracer, so I don't know if it's just my copy or a sign of mold degradation. Luckily, the other foot is sturdy enough to where it kind of makes up for it. She's not just flopping around all over the place. Still has a huge backpack, still quite unsightly, but it's hollow, so it doesn't weigh her down in the back. And just like Moonracer, she can always attach her prime armor to her chest by just tabbing into the sides with the thumb pieces. Get in there nice and as tight as you can. Attaches the front. Looks just as awkward on her as it does on Moonracer. Just sits too low and too far out. Makes it look like she's got like a front backpack on, and just very odd. Here's Moonracer for comparison. You can see they do indeed have completely different heads. Weapons are different. Moonracer has a much calmer looking color scheme, but hers is more unique with that kind of minty green. Novastar is much louder in appearance, but her colors are also very basic. It is like plain red, plain orange for the most part. Again, she looks like a female version of Hot Rod. But yeah, neither one of these is a bad figure in robot mode. They're quite good overall. Again, be wary of that translucent plastic if you're going to play with them. It is prone to cracking and breaking. But now that we've seen the main two modes that this toy has, we're going to go ahead and add her to a combiner. Alright, and I've gone and combined these two with Alita Infinite because, obviously they match thematically and according to artwork they're supposed to go with it, right? And just like Moonracer, Novastar I think makes a really great arm because of the way the middle section's nice and kind of filled in looking, unlike most combiner limbs. Now the more eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed something. She's holding this weapon here. And this weapon is actually Novastar and Moonracer's guns combined into one longer one. Now, this isn't listed in the instructions anywhere. In fact, I just kind of stumbled across this information going on the TF wiki, which is a great resource, by the way, if you don't already know about it. And they just kind of pointed out that, yeah, it's an undocumented feature, but it does seem to be very much intentional because of how well these parts line up. So it works quite well for a combiner weapon. Now that's very interesting because all of the combiner torsos that have been, new molds for Power of the Primes, they don't have their own dedicated weapons for the combiner form. That's one thing that's kind of been a big glaring issue with a lot of these combiners is they just don't have their own big, cannon or sword or whatever, is appropriate for them. So that's really neat. If you go ahead and use these two together in a combiner, you can go ahead and give the combiner its own weapon. So very cool touch. I don't know why they didn't document that. Probably just slipped their minds. But it's nice to see. So now Alita Infinite is much more capable in a fight with other combiners. She actually has some firepower to back it up. All right, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and swap the arms and legs just so you can see what she looks like in her leg mode. It's not a mode I'm going to use very often because it does put some weight on that translucent plastic, which really spooks me. But I will do it for you guys because that's just how kind I am. So give me one moment and we'll take a look at the alternate configuration. All right, here we have the leg forms. And they're not bad looking. They're nice and full, just like the arms. Do have a very interesting, kind of unique setup transformation for how you make them happen. So they do look really nice. They're perfectly serviceable. And the only thing that keeps me from wanting to utilize those is just the fact that all the load is being borne by these translucent plastic pieces here, which I feel like let that sit there for enough years, it may start to buckle. So not something I'm going to risk. But if you want to go that route, be my guest. It does look good. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much covers everything about Novastar. She is really hard to find at the moment because she is the only new mold in the 4th wave of deluxe figures for Power of the Primes. 4th and final. So she's going to be a little hard to spot. People are going to be going after her, scooping her up as fast as they can. Scalpers will be all over trying to charge an arm and a leg for it. I actually got mine from Amazon. They were selling for list price. I don't know if they still are. Definitely worth checking. See if you can get her for somewhere between $15 to $20. So yeah, Novastar is a very welcome addition to the Power of the Primes lineup. I do really wish we could have seen 2 more of Alita's Fembot team from their debut, just so we could have had a full combiner comprised of Alita and her team. I mean, they've gone as far as to name her combiner Alita Infinite. I don't know why they couldn't go and give her a dedicated team, but it is what it is. There will be a Chromia released in the upcoming Transformers Siege toy line, which is not a retool of these toys. Basically, a complete reshelling. Like they're taking the same engineering, removing the combiner gimmick, and just changing it to Chromia. So that'd be interesting. It's a shame it doesn't combine because then could have had one more limb for this combiner, but they do seem to be moving away from that gimmick for the time being. So yeah, I definitely like this toy. But what do you think of it? Let me know down below. If you like this review and you want to see more, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you want to get notifications anytime I post a new toy review, new Transformer discussion, just go ahead and click the bell to receive notifications. And with everything said, I will see you all next time.